Hello everybody, welcome back to the AT-AT Chat. Today we are talking about issue 3 of the Last Jedi comic adaptation. If you are new to the AT-AT Chat, please click the subscribe button and the bell to get updated on my latest content. Now, continuing on with the series, we jump right into the second Force connection between Rey and Kylo Ren. It plays out just like the film with Kylo pondering as to why the Force might be connecting them. The exchange is really close to the film with minor deviations in what was said. What is cool to me is the imagery of the Force connection. We know that while Rian Johnson filmed Last Jedi, he had Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver playing off one another in real life so that the Force connection scenes really seemed authentic. I like seeing what this connection looks like from the third-person perspective. I actually would have liked to see this in the film a little bit to enhance the connection for the audience. Now for my least favorite part of this comic adaptation in the film in general, Canto Bight. As for the comic adaptation, it's not much better than what the film gave us, but it's pretty to look at. Rose and Finn again do end up being incarcerated due to their illegal parking job on the beach. We then shift focus back to Rey on the island doing some training. In the film we see Luke watching her from afar as she ignites the lightsaber and begins her kata, if you will. What I really dig here is again peering inside of Luke's mind while he is watching Rey. It's actually pretty funny to me that he's essentially waiting for Rey to screw up. Even Luke recognizes that she is powerful for a novice, but he recognizes that she's also lacking discipline. Once she slices through the rock, Luke begins lesson 2, and again, no fishnuts, no comedic break. Now, in the comic during this lesson, something very informative is given to us. The story about Vader being redeemed by Luke was the legend that galvanized his status in the galaxy. Well, sure, that's a dumb moment to us the fans because we know what happened. But Luke regrets sharing the private moment of his father's redemption with the wider galaxy. He wishes he never told a soul about Vader or the Emperor. Luke also goes on to tell Rey about the falling out between himself and Ben Solo. These flashbacks are one of my favorite things about The Last Jedi, and in the comic series, it is just as fun to see again. I will always love the line, "When I came to, the temple was burning. He had vanished with a handful of my students and slaughtered the rest." That line could be the beginning of a random Star Wars book and I would be hooked. When we return to the space chase with Admiral Holdo, we see the space frigate explode, and we also see the tension on Admiral Holdo's face as she tells the crew to carry on and stay the course. A lot of her motivations did not come across clearly in the film. Here we visibly see a look of concern. The introduction of DJ is another on-the-nose play-by-play of the film. I thought DJ was a cool character, but I did not care much for his stutter. I love his line about the rapper not fooling you though. It's galactic speak for not judging a book by its cover. It's also super meta if you ask me concerning the nature of the narrative in The Last Jedi. Nothing is black and white, good and bad, made up words. Now, I'm just gonna skip over most of the fathier chase scenes, but overall, the Canto Bight escape plays out just like the film. I have to say, the art of Finn in this specific issue is just super bad. I feel like the artist did not capture the Finnness of Finn. When Luke reconnects to the Force in the comic, we again get more insight into his headspace. Like I've said, this is the best part of the comic series. Luke regrets his solitude because it's cut himself off from those that he loves. When he reconnects to the Force, he reaches out to Leia and Leia speaks Luke's name. This was super haunting to me in the film and even in the comic. I can't exactly explain why it really impacted me, but I think I felt the weight of Luke's reconnection and Leia's relief that she had finally found her brother, even though she was in a coma. Now, the last few pages of this comic are a bit expedited. We get another Force connection with the shirtless Kylo Ren this time. Again, I'm loving that the characters are in each other's settings in the comic. It really would have been cool to see this in the film. Kylo tells Rey's version of betraying Luke, and again we see that in Kylo's mind, Luke is the monster about to destroy him. Luke looks like a raging Sith Lord. I also love that Kylo is taunting Rey about her own abandonment, which then leads us to her confrontation in the Mirror Cave. This plays out exactly like the film. I loved the surrealness of this part of the story. In the comic, it makes more sense to me why Rey went searching for answers. It could be a pacing issue with the editing of the film, but Kylo just dropping bombs on Rey about her parents throwing her away really seemed more weighty here. The one thing I think could have been crafted a little better is the exposition within the cave. In the film, it really isn't clear that Rey is talking to Kylo, at least not for me. In the comic, it doesn't come off that she is talking to Kylo either. In my head, I wish that we had a cell showing them in the hut, then going over her experience in the cave. Now, the comic does end right as Kylo and Rey touch hands. The moment is so potent. Between the movie, the comic, and the novel, so much is happening when they touch. My assumption is that they are forever connected now via the Force, even though it's sort of hinted at the closing of the film, and that due to their similar issues with abandonment, their connection was even more solidified, because they both felt each other's sadness or anger over their own past. I know this is highly speculative, but I do think this is the main point of Rey and Kylo, or as they say, Reylo. Convergence of the dark and light through mutual understanding and shared life experience is where this entire story is going. So overall, this has been my least favorite addition in the comic adaptation so far. I'm not that into the Canto Bight storyline, but this issue definitely has some tasty bits about Luke, Kylo, and Rey. I'd say it's worth the buy for the cover art, but this is the weakest in the series so far. Maybe just check it out online for free, or at your local comic shop and give it a quick once-over. But anyway, thanks for sticking around for this review of The Last Jedi comic issue number 3. I will be uploading my next review during the week, as well as moving on to reviewing a few of the new canon books I've read so far. A lot of people in the comments have asked me if I would do some reviews on the books, and I would love to. So stick around for some of those updates, and Ahch-To signing off.